Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today's film is Coming Soon from 1999. It features Ryan Reynolds, Mia Farrow, Ashton Kutcher, and Ellen Pompeo.
Pardon Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Three preppy rich kids in Manhattan are navigating being seniors, having sex, and what comes next in their lives. Stream, played by Bonnie Root, loses her virginity to Chad, played by James Roday from Psych, but doesn't experience an orgasm. Her girlfriends, played by Gabby Hoffman and Trisha Vesey, seem to have it all, but as it turns out, none of them have experienced an orgasm. Enter Ryan Reynolds as Henry Rockefeller, although he's going by the name Lipschitz, because he doesn't want to get into college because of his family's wealth, but on his own merits. He's a down-to-earth musician that might just be the answer to Stream's problem. Director Colette Burson, who also created the TV series Hung, has here made the equivalent of American Pie for women. American Pie came out the same year as this film, Coming Soon, but this film gets to deal with the female experience. Stream is a lot like Dharma from Dharma and Greg. Her mum is also a hippie, which adds to the comparison, played by Mia Farrow. Mia Farrow has really amazing hair in this film, and she steals lots of scenes, but she is a bit kind of out to the left and not that important. One of the major problems here is that these kids aren't that likeable. Stream, who becomes our lead, played by Bonnie Root, is fairly likeable, but the other two, her friends, there's nothing to really draw you towards them. One of them, played by Gabby Hoffman, is actually kind of the villain of the movie. She's very negative, and she puts her friends down, and she doesn't have kind of a happy ending at the end of the film. She's sort of left in limbo and doesn't really grow as a character. Her sort of subplot is that she has it all and she's been having orgasms and things like that, and it's just not true. And she finds her life more unsatisfying than the other two do. Her boyfriend is actually played by Ashton Kutcher. He's a very confused lover, and she's a lot of woman for him, and this is his first film credit, having been in that 70s show for a few years. Just to let you know, this is the kind of film that deals with what to do with a mouthful of sperm, which I'm sure is the complete female experience. Ryan Reynolds is quite likeable here as Henry Rockefeller Lipschitz, whatever you want to call him. He does have kind of goofy 90s hair, but this was a film that was remembered quite fondly by my wife, who is a big Ryan Reynolds fan, and him being the primary love interest obviously puts this into a certain fan base. There are several cameos in the film, just thought I'd mention them. Peter Bogdanovich plays Mia Farrow's love interest for a little while. He barely speaks, and it's just a little nod to a pretentious upper-class world. Yasmin Bleeth is in one scene, it's almost not worth mentioning. But the smallest cameo of all was for Ellen Pompeo, who many would know from Grey's Anatomy. She didn't need to be in it, they could have started the scene a few seconds later. And she never comes back in any capacity, and there's absolutely no reason to include those few seconds, so it's amazing that she made it into this film and not onto the cutting room floor. One of the major problems of this film for me is that none of the three leads ever investigate masturbation. Now this must have been a ratings thing, and talking about it, even showing it on screen, would have been very risque. But at one point, Stream sits in a jacuzzi with Gabby Hoffman, her friend, and basically the jets from the jacuzzi feel really good, and she starts to get an idea of what she likes. But then to never explore that at any point, or knowing what feels good and knowing that she has an idea of what she likes, there's never really an effort made to for them to find out amongst themselves, or even say, I've tried it, it wasn't for me, or really anything like that, which I think is basically saying that there's this weird message that men need to fulfill your needs sexually, which is not necessarily true. Now, one of the real reasons I wanted to talk about this film was because I wanted to talk about the very end. Now, it's from 1999, but I am going to spoil the end of Coming Soon, so if you did want to see it, just a heads up, I'm ruining the ending now. Ryan Reynolds' character, it's not like a surprise. He's going to provide Stream with her orgasm. He's set up for the entire film to be the guy who's going to do it. And at the end of the film, it seemingly fades to credits and you think, oh wow, we didn't even get to see them have sex. But in fact, they do have sex. It cuts to them, a very close-up shot of her face experiencing her orgasm, and that's great. But then Ryan Reynolds pops up, as if maybe he's been going down on her, and he pops up and he has a cigarette that's half smoked. So either he was smoking while going down on her, or he was just smoking right afterwards, and he offers her the cigarette, and it's such a gross end to the film. I realize, cigarette use was more prominent in the 90s or amongst teens, but it really put me off this whole film, so I just wanted to discuss it here. Tune in next week for another obscure film review.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeyifyoucan.com.